Welcome back to the channel, and today we have 6 new blades to check out, and there's some really nice ones in here. We got a new Kickstarter campaign coming from Artisan Cutlery with a brand new designer, and this is a new Artisan Cutlery Wizard. The designer to this one is Dusty Rhodes, and if you want to read all about his bio and all that stuff, it's all up on the Kickstarter campaign, and then I'll have all necessary links down in the description. They just launched this campaign and it's already backed. I know some people hate the Kickstarter thing, but it allows them to get projects like this to fruition, and I don't mind it. Especially if you hate Kickstarter, you can just wait till the drop actually comes. They do the drop once they filled all the Kickstarter campaign knives, and you get a discount as well. I think it's like 30% for early bird. There's 4 different variations. This particular one is the entry level version. This is the sorcerer level, and what comes on this one is the blue fat carbon inlays on both sides. You got a titanium frame, a blind screwed mill tie clip. Look at that titanium floating backspacer, pretty cool. I love that. And then you have this very discreet filler tab for the opposite side pocket clip. I think it looks really nice. You have a front flipper and you have thumb studs. I'm more of a thumb stud guy or blade hole, but I will say that front flipper works great. You can do the reach around if you like, because you do not have any lock bar pressure because of this being a button lock. I absolutely love the overall aesthetics. I love the fact that he went with a low tip drop point. That tip is pretty much in line with the center of the pivot. You can get that tip down on the things to do detail work, and then piercing tasks can be great as well. Almost like a harpoon because it comes up right there. And this particular variation has the sand polish, they call it. It's basically like a high satin finish. It is a fingerprint magnet. You also have this little portion if you want to choke up, you can, depending on the size of your fingers. I'd just be careful there. It's comfortable back here. I can still get a 4-finger grip when I'm choked back. I probably will go up in this region, you know, to do the wood shaving and stuff when I test it, and to break down the boxes just so I don't get hung up there. These entry level, should I say, and this is a premium knife, come with S90V steel, and the total length on these is 7.64 inches. You get a 3.47 inch blade. It almost looks like this blade's too big for the handle. He put as much blade as he possibly could. Look at that perfect blade to handle ratio. I can't come in contact with the tip. That's what I love to see. You're getting as much blade as they possibly could put on a folding knife while still keeping it in the handle. The access to the thumb studs, great. And the action on this thing, just watch. Yeah, outstanding action. Excellent reverse flicker. Yeah, really, really crisp break there. You can slow roll the front flipper because it does stick up a little bit past there, so you get contact the entire way. Of course, super smooth once you release that button. And another thing is the weight on this guy. This thing is deceivingly lightweight. There is ton. Look at all that skeletonization in there. Tons. And being this a button lock, you can do the same on both sides. This thing, like at first, when I picked this up, that was the first thing I noticed, is how extremely lightweight it feels. And this is well under the ounce an inch per blade length, because this is a 3.47 inch blade, and this particular variation comes in at 3.02 ounces. So if you're somebody who counts the ounces, whoo, you might love this one. Initially, the ergos feel great. They did an outstanding, look at this, outstanding job of softening those edges. Look how rounded those are. Very, very nice melted edges there. Love seeing that. And I think the scales are just flat scales. I mean, from what I can see, they may have a slight chamfer, but I can't tell. But they did such a good job of melting all those hard angles that for me, so far, it feels great. Now, this is initially, I didn't do any testing with it yet, so I can't say that for sure. But man, that break on that button lock, ooh. Now, the only thing that I noticed right off the bat, and it's probably, I have 2 gripes on the knife that I don't love, but I don't think they would be deal breakers for me. The first one, I'm sure y'all all already know what I'm going to say, is the sharpening choil. You can see that plunge comes right here. It's already starting to flare right there. So the next sharpening, that's going to get wider and wider. I don't understand why we see that. So if I don't want that portion to widen on me after I sharpen it the first time, I'm going to have to cut a little notch into there. And let's see, being this is a button lock, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. You can see that's where the heel of your blade is right there. You have a stop pin in the closed position. So if you're going to cut a notch in there, you have to be very, very careful. I usually take a felt tip marker, the fine points, and draw a line right in front of where it's making contact with that stop pin. That way I don't mess up the closed position so it doesn't have blade wrap and hit the backspace or anything. Just a bummer. A lot of us talk about it enough. You'd think they would start, incorporating that. But, maybe they were just going by Dusty's wishes there on the overall design, because he did this in CAD, which is amazing. And if that's the case, then yeah, I could definitely give him a break. This is his first design coming to fruition. Other than that, I absolutely love the knife. Like his little duck logo, he loves animals, and the duck is one of his favorite animals. I think it's cool looking there. You got some nice jimps there. They do a great job of gripping the thumb. They could have come out a little bit further, but they were more worried about the front flipper. I understand that, and it works great. But choke back, I can make contact with that jimping, but if you choke up, you're not going to have anything up here in the front. Now, my second nitpick on the knife, I love the overall aesthetics of the pocket clip. I think it's nice. It's very minimal. I like that. However, they need more room underneath there, because I put this in my jeans today and it stopped about right here. So yeah, it needs more room underneath there. So because if you have thick pants, you probably won't be able to get it to go all the way to the top. And then in pocket, you have that much sticking out. That's fine with me. And we have T8 hardware throughout. I don't know about the pocket clip. It's in the inside, so I can't really tell you that. But I'm glad that they went T8 on the body screws and the pivot screw. Your tie frame is just a bead blasted finish, it looks like. Yeah. Other than those two nitpicks, I love the knife. Can't wait to do some testing with it. I'm going to be starting testing today. Hopefully I can get that completed before the Kickstarter campaign ends. But that's the first level. Right now, for the early bird price, these are coming in at $199. I think that's a very fair price for everything you're getting here. I think it's a 30% discount if you back the project in the early bird phase. Then the next step up from the Sorcerer, you got the Mage. And this one has a Damascus or titanium Damascus inlay on both sides. You have the Damascus pivot collar and filler tab, and the Damascus floating backspacer, and it even looks like those posts are also Damascus, along with the Damascus pocket clip, blind screw pocket clip. So the Mage specs are the exact same as the Sorcerer, except obviously the Damascus over the fat carbon. And then the weight, being that you have the extra titanium on this one. The weight on this one, like I said, is 3.02 ounces. And the Damascus one comes in at 3.18 ounces. So still way under the ounce an inch. Definitely a looker there. You still get the S90V blade on this one. The beautiful action. They both have, the cool thing is that both of these have spot on action. The same exact action from knife to knife. So if you jump up to the Mage series with the Damascus everywhere, that's going to bring the price up to $299 early bird price. Now the next two I don't have to show y'all, but the third tier is called the Magna Mage, and that one has the same handle as this one, but it has a Magna Cut blade that they're Rockwelling from 62 to 63, which is actually pretty good for a large-scale production. Those are limited to 200 pieces. I don't know how many they've sold so far, so if you want one of those, you probably need to jump on it. And the cream of the crop Wizard, like I said, I don't have that exact one, but I have one that you can kind of get an idea what it's going to be like. That one's going to be called the Enchanter. So it is going to have, just like on my boa here, the full Damascus, everything. And it's going to have a mirror polished S90V blade on that one. Yep. This is the only knife I've ever owned with this much Timascus. I don't buy many knives with Timascus, so it was really cool to get something like this in the collection, and it was awesome that they sent this one to me to show on the channel. Of course, with all that Timascus and the mirror polished blade, of course, the prices could jump up pretty dramatically. The price on these are going for $6.99, early bird price. So love to hear y'all thoughts on the Wizard. Do you plan on getting in on the Kickstarter? If you are interested, I will have the Kickstarter link down in the description. We reviewed the Giant Mouse Ace Atelier on the channel a while back. This is the smaller version of the Giant Mouse Ace Grand. Well, they will be releasing a new version, and it's another one of the burlap micarta variants with the black wash blade and the brass backspacer. The first knife that they did like this is one that I carry quite often. That is the Ace Juteland. Now, there is a difference between these two that I really wish we would have seen on the Atelier as well. The Juteland, they went with Vanitas steel, which is kind of like 4V, awesome steel. And, you know, it's just something different other than scales and color. On this one, they just did the blade and the scales. This still in LMAX steel, which I like LMAX a lot, so I'm not bummed about it, but I think it would have been cool to see Vanitas or something like that on this one, Magna Cut, something. But, you know, I'm sure we might see that later down the road. These drop on August 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I will either do another video before the drop, or I will notify y'all through my community tabs. So if you want to know when these are dropping, or you want the reminder, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get my community posts. All right, next we got two knives sent in for review by Blade and Beam, a new company that I'm working with. I'm an affiliate with them now. They sent in the Tactile Knife Co. CHUPACABRA. I've been wanting to check one of these out, and man, I'm just gonna tell you now, I already like it. It's made in the U.S. by Tactile Knife Co. It's got aluminum scales, a deep carry pocket clip, tip up right hand carry only, and this one has the Snex Super Lock like on the Civivi Vision FG, done just a little bit different. But they somehow, I haven't looked in the inside, they have created a detent on this. Just listen to the sound. It makes this cool clack sound whenever it opens. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. And it has a nice detent to it. And thanks to Neve's Knives, they sharpened the jimping on the Super Lock. He said the first ones were very slick. This one, I have no problems disengaging it whatsoever. These are in CPM Magna Cut, Rockwell from 63 to 64 HRC. Yeah, this one's going to be a fun one to test. Very comfortable. If this one interests you, I will have it linked down in the description as long as it is available. The next one is from a maker that I haven't heard of beforehand. So this is coming from Beans Blades. This is his Mini Warrior. The OEM on this knife is Riot. So this particular variation has black wash titanium. You have cross-cut Mars Valley fat carbon on this one. There's other variations, other finishes. You have a very well executed flipper tab, so you can either do the light switch, or if you want to put your finger up here, you can do a push button. I like the light switch. Now this is a beefy Tonto blade, and it's in Bowler M390. This thing came ridiculously sharp. I kind of wish they would have put the inlay on this side, made it a bolster lock. That would have looked a little bit nicer, but one thing I noticed right off the back, the scales are a little thicker, and this thing is very comfortable. Now, I haven't done any cutting yet, but thanks to Blade and Beam for allowing me to actually test these knives. I think that's awesome. He said it's up to me, so if I can fit in testing on both knives, I will do that for y'all. Unless that's something y'all don't want to see, y'all let me know that as well. We have an EDC fixed blade. This company, and along with some of the others from Italy, I kind of steer clear of. I just have not had any luck whatsoever, either super soft heat treats or just some super thick edges. Well, I haven't had a Viper knife in a while. It's been a long time since I bought a Viper knife, but I love the look of this one, so I figured I'd give it a try. It wasn't ridiculously expensive or anything. Comes with 2 soft loops. You get a minimal kydex. The first thing I noticed right off the back, this is just, yeah, a rattly mess. Now I can fix that by, pinching this down some with some heat should be fine. They got a nice little push off. Now I'll tell you what, this is the Viper Knives Handy 2. See the name right there. This one is in M390. You got a little bit of belly there, so you can better cut on a flat cutting surface and a pinch grip because that edge sits below the handle. So I can use that pinch grip to use that edge on a flat cutting surface. But I'll tell you, this grip right here initially feels outstanding. If y'all want to see a full review on this one, let me know. And this last one is a pretty loud budget folder. We have the new CJRB Shale. Only reason I got this color because the other one was out of stock whenever I ordered it. This thing is nice and lightweight. It's a baby blue. This texture right here, this milled texture, is very nice. It's not overly grippy. You have the orange underneath. You have a tip-up deep carry pocket clip. They didn't inset the clip, but they did countersink those screws. Not a bunch of ramp there, though. And that is sitting on top of that texture. It is reversible, flow-through construction on this one. The action, excellent. Very nice action. And I know some people said they found it hard to deploy the Hectare because of the blade hole. Well, this one's very similar to the Hectare. And now it's got, this one has thumb studs, so it's a lot easier to manipulate. Very smooth out of box. I don't think they do the clutch lock thing. No, they don't. Which I'm okay with it because the crossbar, this is one of the better tuned tension on a crossbar lock. Like very, very good. It's not overly strong to where it's uncomfortable to pull back, but it holds it in there. You know, that was a pretty hard shake to get it out. So definitely okay with that. You got a nice little ramp there. It's like a clip point, high flat grind, feels decently thin. This is in the RPM 9 steel. So love to hear y'all thoughts on this one. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Here's another open shot of all the knives. Let me know which knife would you like to see a review on first, if you wouldn't mind. And like I said, if any of these interest you and they are available, I will have them linked down in the description. They may be affiliate links. So if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, that is pretty much the only way to do so. I always appreciate it. But if not, no biggie. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I'll do my best to get back with you, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye. Have a good weekend. Peace.